Hi, I hope this video finds you in good health and doing well. I would like to, in this video, is give you a summary in hopes of helping you complete the project for this module. As always, make sure you read the text and go through all of the activities and videos. What I'm going to use today is the instructor notes, and I'm also going to pull up the project itself under projects in Excel under assignments. So let me go ahead, and I have it open already, the M6. Can't stress this enough, always read your instructions, and in doing that, you'll see all these values go away once I enter my username. Always no capitalizations, not your student number, just your username that you use to sign in with eCampus, but with no capitalization. So in this module, you'll see there's 3 different decisions, and that's basically the organization, if you will, of the module. You have outsourcing decisions, you have special order decisions, and you have whether to continue or eliminate a product, or maybe even a department or a whole subsidiary of a company. So that's what we're going through in this project. You're going to be demonstrating your understanding of it. So I'm going to start with outsourcing. You'll see in the class notes, I'm going to kind of go back and forth here. You have outsourcing decisions here, examples, whether to do that or not. The key in making these decisions is you've got to identify what's going to change as a result of the decision. If this item is not impacted or will be the same regardless of what you do, it's not relevant to the decision. So that's really important to make sure you understand that. In other words, things that aren't going to change, not part of your decision making. You have to be careful about that. Examples of something that's irrelevant are what we call sunk costs. If you've already, say, bought the equipment and you can't get anything for it, that's not part of the decision if you were trying to decide whether to eliminate something. That's just one example, but there's a lot of examples you have in your instructor notes. My recommendation, as always, is use your class notes as sort of a practice to see if you understand the material. Make your mistakes there, and then you can compare to the instructor notes. As far as you can see here, what's relevant in this decision, it's only the things that will change as a result of the decision. So if you manufacture one item, just one unit, what will be the costs that would go away if you stop manufacturing, or if you manufacture, what's the additional cost? So always your variable costs, like direct materials and direct labor, those are always relevant. The thing that won't be, though, you have to be careful about, are these fixed costs that are not avoidable, i.e. will be there regardless of what you do. Like I gave that example of an equipment. But if the situation was such, if you outsource, you could sell a piece of equipment, then what would be relevant is the equipment's sales price, what you would make on it. Now, as far as, let's go through though, in terms of how you deal with it in the project. Unavoidable fixed costs are never relevant. Avoidable, that means if you don't manufacture and outsource, those costs will go away. They'll change as a result of the decision. So you have an example here. Then you want to be careful, like with homeworks, as you probably already found, you got to understand whether it's per unit or in total. But this module deals with what we call incremental. So like typically, if we do one more unit, or if we outsource one unit, what will be the cost? And then you make that comparison. There's others, though, that we'll talk about here in a moment. Special order, you usually figure out how much in total. So for instance, in this example, it would cost $5 to make one more unit versus 6 if we outsource. So we'd lose $1 if we outsource. We'd lose a total, and you can see here 5,000. So that's where you want to make sure if it's a per unit or in total. But this is 5,000 quiche, so we would lose $5,000. So you'll be doing that here in this first part, trying to decide whether something's relevant or not, and then what is the incremental cost and should you outsource or not. The next one is special order. Basically, again, it's the same type of analysis on a special order. It's only the items that will change as a result of a decision. One thing that you got to be careful about is a lot of people think the regular sales price is relevant. You're not going to change the price you sell your goods to others for. That is not relevant. What is, though, is the special price. So you can see this example will help you very much understand how to do the special order portion of your project. And then lastly, the incremental analysis. That's the last part. Two things to keep in mind is the fixed costs again. If you have a voidable fixed cost, then they're relevant. If the costs are not going to change as a result of, say, getting rid of a product line, for instance, we can see here that we have total fixed cost for the company of $4,500. That gets allocated in accordance with this this example based on the number of units. So basically, the amount of overhead that gets allocated is based on how many units. Well, as soon as you eliminate something, so let's just look at one where we're, let's say, considering eliminating this amount right here, or the potato chips right here. If we eliminate those potato chips, the fixed costs, this fixed cost of $1,350, that's going to have to be borne, if you will, because it's not avoidable. It's going to have to be borne by these others. So that will not help your bottom line, so to speak, your operating income. So that $4,500 is there if there's no indication of any of it being avoidable. If you eliminate, then that $4,500 is not relevant. All right. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide whether to eliminate. And again, we've got examples in here to help you through those. I hope that helps. Please, again, always follow the instructions, do another reread of them to make sure you're doing everything correctly. And I wish you well. And it's amazing that we're this far in the semester. So hang in there, keep up the good work. Until the next video, ciao.